Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar about Cypress IO. We will wait a little bit more for more people to join, and we will start webinar shortly. Okay, so now it's 7 p.m. We want to start right on time. Thanks again for joining us. And so we will be talking today about Cypress IO end-to-end testing. Prince from tradelink.com will tell us all the details. It will be more like a practical session, so you can see how to actually use it on practice, and you can always implement it in your company. So about the questions, please write it in the channel, in the chat. And yeah, once presentation is done, we will be answering it. Prince will get answers for all these questions for you. And yeah, like if you have any difficulties about hearing us or see the video, please mention it in chat as well, so we can fix it as soon as possible. So yeah, now I will head off to Prince. Please, that's all yours.
Okay, thank you, Aluna. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Prince Soni, and I'm working as a lead QA engineer with Tradelink.com. Tradelink.com is a B2B trading company in MENA region. I have over 10 years of experience in QA and testing, along with test automation. Uh, so during these years, I've worked on many test automation tools. Basically, those belongs to the WebDriver protocol, like Selenium and WebDriver IO. Since last 1 year, I got a chance to work with Cypress, and believe me, since then I'm in love with Cypress because it's simply amazing tool. There are various features which I'm going to discuss today. So I don't have fancy slides with me because I thought let's make it as a practical session, and I will write some code and we will learn along. So these are the topics which I am going to cover today. So basically, I will talk about Cypress, what is it and its overview, and then we'll go to the installation setup and project structure. We'll write some basic test cases. We'll talk about the test runner and its features. And then we'll see some of command line options. We'll try to generate HTML reporting after the test execution. And at the last, if time permits, we will go through the Cypress and GitHub Actions. So basically, Cypress, beautifully gel along with different CI servers. I'm taking GitHub CI server in this session. Okay, so let's get started. So I just opened the Cypress homepage, and as you can see, there's only one command through which you can install Cypress. Okay, so basically, Cypress is a modern generation test automation tool, which again don't use the WebDriver protocol or JSON wire protocol. So basically, Cypress sits in a browser. That is why it is very fast. And anything which runs in browser, Cypress can test it. Also, Cypress currently using the language binding as JavaScript, and it will use the JavaScript as a language binding. Of course, we can use TypeScript also, but under the hood, it will be compiled into JavaScript only. Okay, so let's talk about various features what Cypress has for us. If I click on the feature here. So There are many features, but most of them I like is the time travel, because once you run any test execution, you can see how your script is going, how the test execution is going. You can also go back to the previous state of the application using time travel feature. Okay, and Cypress don't uses any implicit, explicit, or fluent wait like we used to do in Selenium. So it has its own waiting mechanism. It automatically waits for the element to be loaded, and basically under the hood, Cypress scroll to the element and it focuses on the element, and then it waits for the element to be appear in the DOM. Cypress is not only useful in UI testing, but it is also useful in API testing. So it has a rich documentation for network stubbing and the traffic control. You can see here. You can also generate screenshot and videos. By default, these features comes true with Cypress, but we can enable or disable it based on our requirement. So as I said, it is a modern generation test automation tool. So it's supporting various browsers for cross-browser testing. Currently, it has very good support for stable version of Chrome, Firefox, and Edge. The default browser for Cypress is Electron. There's a new addition in the browser list, which is Brave. Okay. So these were the main features which I'm going to discuss, and so basically what I'll do, I'll write some tests and we will discuss more in details these features. Okay, so let's get started. Let me open a terminal. Okay, before Cypress, make sure that we need to have Node.js in our system. Since I have already installed, we can install the Node.js from the website. Okay, so if you are using Mac, there's a long-term support version which you can install, or there's a different version for Windows as well. Because as I said, like Cypress is a JavaScript testing framework, it is nothing but an NPM library which you can download from the Node.js server. So since I have already installed the node, I'm not going to install it again. I'm straight away creating a directory where I can install the Cypress and its dependency. So I'm naming it as test automation Cypress, cd to directory. Okay. The next thing we need to have is an ID of your choice. I mean, I'm using VS Code here, but you can use any ID which support JavaScript language like WebStorm or any other ID. Okay. So I'm into the my project directory right now. Let me try to install Cypress. The simple command is cypress npm install save dev. So it will install Cypress as a dev dependency. So whatever you will do, it will be applicable for this particular project. Okay, so you see how fast it is. The Cypress got installed. Let me open the IDE here, which is VS Code. Okay, let me open a terminal here as well. Okay, so since we have installed Cypress, let us check the version of Cypress. We already know, like in the log, it has 6.5.0, but in case if you want to check the version of Cypress, there is a command called npx cypress version. So you can see the Cypress package version is 6.5 and the binary is 6.5. Default browser is Electron, which has version of 11.2. The node version bundle with it is 12.18. So yeah, as of now, we don't see any folder structure here. So let me open the Cypress for the first time, because unless you open the Cypress, it will not create the folder structure. So to open the Cypress, there's a command called npx cypress open. So you can see there's a Cypress window opening. So this is the first time how you see the Cypress in your desktop. So it gives you, the glimpse of how your project structure will be. But later on, you can alter this project structure. So this is the default structure which Cypress gives us. Okay, and this is a Cypress test runner. You must be wondering from where these items are coming. So these are the default spec file. Spec file is a test file which comes bundled with Cypress, which is under the example folder. So if I see the ID now, see there's a Cypress folder now, which is cypress.json. Okay, so this cypress.json is nothing but a configuration file for Cypress. We will see how we can put some values and change the behavior of Cypress default configuration. Okay, so this will be your main folder. Under this, there are some packages like fixture, integration, plugin, and support. We'll be discussing one by one, like what is fixture, what is integration, plugin, and support. But first of all, let's see the main folder, which is integration. So all our test cases, our test scripts will reside inside the integration folder. So as of now, you can see inside integration, there is an example folder, which comes with bundled specs. So let's delete all of them. Okay, now our integration folder is empty. Let's create a spec file. For this demo, I'm using only JavaScript, but we can configure TypeScript also. And since the version 4.0, Cypress 4.0, TypeScript support comes bundled with it. So yeah. So let's give it as login spec.js. Okay, so Cypress uses Mocha and Chai. Basically, it is the inbuilt utility comes with Cypress. So whosoever has worked on Mocha and Chai, so they must be aware of the uh, the testing structure, how we write the test cases. It is very similar. We can use either context, or we can wrap it in describe. Okay, something like this. So we see if I'm typing something, it is not giving us the IntelliSense. So Cypress has a command. If we use that, it will auto complete your code. So let me go to the Cypress website here. There's a very rich documentation. Everything we need, we will find here. So basically, it is a kitchen where it has a lot of elements. It's just that we have to create our recipes through it. So let me search IntelliSense. Okay. If you go down, there's a command / directory. Yeah. Okay, so let me paste it here. Now, if I save it and start writing my test, so let me use now. See, the describe is coming now. So describe is nothing but you can call it as a scenario under which you will write some test cases. So let's say Cypress test for login page, and it takes a callback function. So either you can use function like this, or since we have ES6 arrow function, so I basically prefer that. Okay. So this will be your scenario block. Under it, we can write some test cases. So for test cases, we can use it block. Okay. Again, it will take a callback. So I'll write some test cases for homepage verification, invalid credential login, and a valid credential login. And then we will see how we can use the API methods of Cypress. We will try to log in with the API. Okay, so now in Cypress, everything starts with a psi command, which is abbreviation of Cypress object. So if you type psi, which is simply cy, you will see so many methods coming, bundled with this object. So in our case, what we are going to do is, so this is our Cypress homepage. Okay, we'll try to open the Cypress homepage, and in the later test cases, we will log in into Cypress login window. So CY, now since I have to, what I have to do is I have to navigate to cypress.io. So I simply use a method called cypress.visit, and I will give the URL here, HTTPS. Okay. Now, you see, I have saved it, and currently, since I have deleted all the example specs, it is showing me only login spec. So if I simply click on it, it will run the Cypress test. Okay, maybe I need to close this session. Wait. Let me close this. Give me a minute. I think something wrong with the machine. Wait. I don't know what's wrong with this. Maybe I'm doing something wrong because I'm simply trying to open a Cypress window and it's saying that you don't. Maybe I deleted something from here. Uh, okay, so let me do one thing. Let me close this. I already have one project similar to this. Let me open that one. Okay. So what I'll do now is I'll delete the project which I have already created because somehow maybe it is messed up. So let me create a new package and then I will install Cypress on it. Okay. So now let me try to see anyone of the action is running here. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, yes, maybe I have deleted something previously, but okay. So now since we have the same folder structure here in the integration folder, let me create a new file here. Let me name it as login.spec.json. Oh, sorry, JS. Okay. I'm opening the Cypress web page. Let's copy this one more time. Cypress login page test. Okay, it takes a callback. Let's write our first test case here. It opens Cypress home page. Okay. Okay. Now cy.visit. Or let me copy it from here. Okay. Now let me open Cypress window again, Cypress test channel. I can see my login spec here. Let me try to run it. Yeah. So you see it has opened the Cypress homepage. So let me write a few more test step on this. So this is the command for visiting a home page. Now I'll show you how we can locate an element through Cypress. So Cypress by default uses CSS as element selector, but you can also use XPath. There's a configuration for XPath, but I'm going with CSS for now. So if you write like cy.get, and under this, you see these many elements it can accommodate. So selector could be object or any other element tag. So let me grab the element here. So since this is a login page and it is under li, so I'm just writing it as li a tag which contain login as text. Okay. Now, since it comes with Mocha and Chai assertion, so you can use should, which will have these many assertions. So basically, we have to make sure that the login link is visible on the screen and it is enabled. So let me try writing b.visible. Okay, and let me take one more link over there. This link. So this is also similarly under li. So if I now save it and try to run it again, you can see how fast it is opening the browser. And this is it, like our 2 session passed. So you can see if you click on any of the assert, you can see it will highlight the locator as well. Okay, so these 2 locators are verified. Uh, let me write one more test to log in into Cypress website. cy.get, the same locator I'm using here. Now, simply we have to click on it. So dot click. But here's the problem. So whosoever has worked on Cypress, they know that because of the cross-origin policy, it doesn't support multiple tabs. So if I click on login here manually, so you see there's a new tab which is opening up, and but if you see the Cypress window here, if I run it, so it contains only one tab. Okay, so if I go out of this browser, this URL, it will not be able to identify it. So many people see it as a limitation, but I think differently, because we can handle it, through removing an attribute called target. So basically, if I again look into this locator, so here it says target is blank. Okay, so what will happen if I remove this target attribute and again click on login link? So it will open on the same page. So that is what I'm going to do it now. So before clicking on it, there's a method called invoke. So you can write a method invoke, and which will invoke certain parameter, or you can say attributes for you. So in this, so it will take like command like removing attribute. So what attribute I have to remove is target. Okay. Now you see these are the chaining of methods. Like first Cypress will try to get this element, and on top of that element it will invoke this method, like removing an attribute which is a target. After that it will click on it. So now if I save it, see, I haven't ran it because since I just save it, this is the capability of Cypress, because once you save any changes, it will automatically identify those changes and it will start the execution. So you can see this time this login page open in the same tab. It didn't open in any different tab. So now I can log in with my email. I have a dummy test data for it. Instead of fetching the locator from dev tool like from here, Cypress has its own inspector. Most of the time it is very useful, like if you have ID or a unique element class or name with the element, it will uniquely identify that. So let's try. This is open selector background, and if I click here and I mouse over to any of the object, you can see this has a class here. So if I click here, you can see it will make a statement with this object, and you can also copy it to the clipboard. And once you go back to the ID, here is your statement. Now we can click on it. Okay, so after clicking on it, it will take us to the login screen. So I have already opened here. Okay, let's capture these elements as well. Okay, let me capture these elements as well. This is email. This has ID as email. Now we have to type a username. So for that, we have a command called type. Okay, and I have the test data as well with me. I'm trying to log in with invalid credential first to see some error message, and we will capture those error messages as well. Now, if I capture this login button, simply dot click. Now, if I save it now, you see the execution is already started. Okay, so now it has given the warning. We can verify the warning as well. Now this should, so to assert this is a field of error message, but what it contains, you can also verify that. So for that, I will use should contain, and what should be the value? It is missing credentials. If I run this again, if I save it again, it will start running it. Okay, now we can see the expected was this missing credentials, and Cypress has found it. If I click here, this element has highlighted. Now let me try to log in with valid credentials. So what will happen if I log in with valid credential? I have already created it. So it will take me to the Cypress dashboard utility. So basically, Cypress dashboard is for the analytics. If you run your test cases in CI server or in local, you can see them recorded in Cypress dashboard. But unfortunately, it is a paid thing, so I'm not going to go in detail for Cypress dashboard in this session. Yeah, so let me try with valid credential now. And I need to have the password field as well. It also has the ID. Okay. Now this error message will not come. We will see another element. So let me save it. This was the second test case. Now it is trying to log in with valid credential. Oh, what happened? Okay, I got it. So yes, this is the point I wanted to highlight. Basically, here I have used cy dot visit, but in rest of the test cases, I have not opened the browser, and it is trying to take the last stage of the previous run, and it is executing on top of that. So for every test, you have to add, because this it block is independent. Okay, so you have to add a opening a URL statement, but I'm not going to add it for every test. Instead, what we can do, we have before each hook in Cypress. So we will put this statement under before each. It will also take a callback. Oops. Okay. Now I'm just deleting this widget statement from here and I'm pasting it here. So what will happen for each test, it will open a fresh browser. And the beauty of Cypress is each time you run a test, the browser will get open in incognito mode. So even if you're logged in the previous session, it will not tell that, okay, you are already logged in. So let me try to run this now. You see, this time it got passed. Okay, and now it has login into Cypress dashboard. So this will be the first. This is how it looks like when you open it for the first time, Cypress dashboard. Basically, here you have to create your organization. I'm not going to do that, but yet it is very simple. Like in few steps, you can create your organization, and you can see your previous test record over here, or you can integrate with CI server, and whenever you are running your test in CI server, it will get displayed here. So I think like 500 recordings are free for individual users. After that, I think some amount you have to pay. Okay, so now at last I will write one API test. So what we have done so far, we have installed Cypress. All of the dependencies already got installed. We have created a basic test for login, and let's see how we can do API testing with it. So I'm going to delete all this. I'm changing the name of this test. Login with Cypress request API method. Okay. So if I type CUI.request, okay. So this is a method through which you can trigger an API request. You just have to, if it is a GET request, no need to give the method type. Otherwise, if it is a post or update, you have to specify it. Let's say I'm using post. Okay. Now I'm taking the URL from here. So if I open the network tab here and if I try to log in, so this will be the login URL for that request. Okay. Now you can specify the different parameters which are required for this request. So let's say what it takes is, so it takes two parameters here, email and password. So I'm giving email as a parameter. Email, we already have it here. And password. Okay. Now we have created the email request body. It is a post method. Now we will capture the response. So for that, just type then, and inside then block, like you name it as res. Okay. Okay. And now you can verify response code. So I'm writing expect this response dot status. Um, Let me show you what are all the request verification we can do here. So if I go to thing cy dot request, so basically you can verify status code. The desired code here is 200. You can verify the response body if it has some length or headers or duration. So we will use, we will verify this status code, and we'll see if it has headers. So basically what we are doing here is we are taking a response here. So basically it is in asynchronous. So in then block, we are capturing the response, and on that response, we are verifying whether it has a status code as 200 and it has the header as well. So now let me save it. Let's see what happens here. There is something. Okay. So it's a typo. I should have write res because I have taken res here. Okay. So now if this API has been passed, so status code is 200, and we have the header as well. Now what I'm going to try is, since we here till this point we already logged in into the Cypress website, but through API. Now, if I open this page, let's say if I click here, okay, yeah, this one open. So as of now, you can see it is not logged in, but we are logging it through Cypress request. And if I open again, let me manually log in into this. I just need a URL. Okay, so basically this will be like that. This URL I need to open. Yeah, I'm signing it from here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is if I visit to that URL without physically logging into the login page, I should be redirected to that URL. So cy.visit. Now let's see what happens. One more thing, instead of running all those tests again and again, what we can do is we can I have one plugin with me which I have installed for Cypress. So basically, it is called as Cypress Helper. Once you install this plugin, um, you will be able to open Cypress window with only one test, or you can even skip the test also. So here, if I set it as only and if I open it, so now it's opening only one test. So you can see login with Cypress request API method. You see, in this session, actually, I have not physically logged in into the Cypress website. So I was talking about the time travel feature. Now we can see here, we started with Cypress homepage, and then we post a request, okay, and we verified that request. So basically under the hood, we have already logged in, and now if we hit the URL of after login page, it will not ask us to log in again because through API we have already logged in. So this is the beauty of Cypress, like you can mock and stop the API requests. Okay, so yeah, since we have these three tests, but you see these test uses the hard-coded like locators. If I have to use these locator in any other script or feature, I have to again copy these and paste there. And what happens if some of them are changed? I need to run around all the test cases where it has changed. So that will be a tedious process. Instead of that, since we already worked on test automation, most of us are aware of the page objects. So we will write here the page objects, same like Selenium or any other tool. So quickly, let me show you how we can do that. First, let me take these objects, these elements in a locator object, or maybe I should call it as const locator. Okay. Now this is a login link. It will be a key value pair here. So basically, yeah. Similarly, this is docs link. Okay. Now, instead of this, I can simply write locator. Sorry, let's call it as locators. Okay, now dot login link. And similarly, this will become locators dot docs link. Okay, this will also become login link, and this is a button. So I will change this one as well. Locators dot login with email button. This will be email field where we have to enter the username. And similarly, we will have one password field. Okay. Locators dot email. Locators dot password. And finally, we will have this login button. Okay. So these many objects we have used here, and I have changed those objects. Okay. So now we have taken all these elements in a single object. So at least now, if something has to be changed, it has to be changed here itself. Okay, but I still think we can modify it further. So because if I have to use this step in any other spec file, I have to again change it if locator changes. So for that, actually, let's create um, a new folder called as page object. Under this, let's create a new file, login.page.php. JS, and here what we can do is we can copy these locators, okay, and we can create a class, and we will export that class with which have the methods for the login page, and we will use those method in login.spec. So let me write a class, sorry, export class, and under this class we will create functions. Let's say I deleted this code from here. Let's say verify home page. Okay, so paste the code here, and here we can simply import that class with import command. So import login. What was the class name? Okay, we haven't given the class name. Login page, and we can import this class from. We have to simply give the path. I'm giving the relative path here, so it is under page object and login page. Now you just have to create a new object for this. So let me write const login page is equal to new login page. Now I can call this method. So login page dot verify home page. Similarly, I can create a method for this also. It is login with an invalid credential. Login with invalid credential. Okay, and here login page, login with invalid credential. And the last one is login with valid credential. Okay, so you see how our code is now a bit more organized, and it is isolated, and it will be reusable also because we are using page object. What we have done here is we created one page object called login page. Under that we taken all the locators in one object, and then we created one export class login page. Under that we have written some methods which will be used here in login.spec. We can create the same method, same function for this request test also, but I'm not going into that because we are running out of time. So let me quickly show you the reporting part. As I promised in the session, beginning of the session, we will see some report generation also. Um, I have, so basically Cypress uses the Moccasin utility to generate the HTML report. There is some configuration which we need to do. Let me quickly go through with that configuration. So let me open file. I have already written the steps for that because I knew will be running out of time. So okay, wait. Okay, so this is a reporter utility. What we have to do is we have to install some packages like Mocha Merge, which will Actually, Mokasum will generate the JSON files out of test execution, and then this Mokasum merge package will merge those JSON files, and finally we will be generating our test report with Mokasum report generator. So you can install them one by one, or you can install them in a bunch. So let me open, or let me close this Cypress session. Okay. So it will install the Mokasum merge, and report generator. And after that, so basically we have to write some configuration in the cypress.json. Okay, so as you can see, nothing is there. We will remove this, and so here we are telling Cypress to use the reporter as Mokasum. We can use JUnit as well, but here I'm using Mokasum. So I'm under reporter option. What we are telling it as, use the report directory as Cypress result. I have not created it. It will automatically create and overwrite. If you make it false, it will not overwrite. HTML is false. JSON, because we need a JSON file, we will make it as true. Simple. Okay. Configure the package.json. Okay. So basically now we have to write some scripts also here in package.json. Oh, we haven't created it. So simply git, n npm initialize in it. And if I write y tag, it will create a default file with default option like this. So you will see this package JSON got created, and this will tells you the name of your project. See, this package.json is a dependency manager kind of stuff, like we used to have in Selenium POM file, where um, we used to write our dependencies. Similarly, what are all packages we are going to use? We will write those packages in package.json. So I'm just removing this test tag, and I'm just copying it here. Sorry. So okay, I'll explain what it does. Basically, this pre-cy run. So there's a command like Cypress run, which will, if you hit this command, it will open the Cypress in headless mode. Okay, it will run the test in terminal. So we are going to use this command, and before this, if I write like pre-cy run, it will clean up the folder structure, like it will remove the Cypress result and Mokasum the files. And then there is one more package which we need to run, is npm run all. What this package will do, since we have reports like generation of report and merging of it, so it will run all the npm script in a sequence. Okay, so it will run. See, you have you see this run as report star. So basically what I'm trying to do here is I'm running all the script in sequential mode, and all the reports like report merge, report generate, it will get run. And then in post CY, I'm just waiting for 10 seconds, and then I will run this npm run report. And finally, I will do my testing in test scope. So this is the command npm run cy run, and then post cy run. So now after this, if I try running npm, and this is test, so I have to just write, oh, sorry, test. Okay, something what's wrong. Okay, I haven't saved it, I guess. Okay. Let me open. Yeah. So here I have that scripts with me. So if I go to the package.json, here you can see all those script commands are there. Now simply I have to write npm test. So it will start running the test in headless mode. Okay, so what it is doing, it is running all those commands in sequential. You can see that it has started running, and the Cypress version which we are using is 6.5 Electron. It is running with Electron browser in headless mode. It has found one spec. Now very quickly our test will finish, and then we will see HTML report as well. Okay, so those 4 tests got ran, and all of them are passed. And it says video got saved under video folder. And since there is no failure, so there is no screenshot here. And after 10 seconds, see, I waited for 10 seconds and it generated the report. So it will generate the report saved in this folder. Okay, so if you go to the Mukasam report, if you see this, open it in browser. So these are the 4 test cases we just ran. Okay, logging, verifying the home page, login with invalid and valid credential, and then testing an API with request method. So this was all about Cypress and page object model and its features. So there is one important feature here because Cypress help us to remove the flaky test management. So a flaky test is a test which pass in one run and it may be fail in another run without any specific reason. It may be a network issue. It may be application DOM changes its state or some sync issue. So to avoid that, just to filter out what are all your flaky test cases, you can simply go to the Cypress JSON, and here you can write retries. Okay, so what it will do, it will retry, and the default value for retry is 0. But if you give it as 1, it will retry that particular test one more time. So let me show it to you how we can do that. So since I have written it here, let me go to any of the test and intentionally fail it. So, okay, this one, let's say if I'm going here, home page, I'm making it as disabled. Okay, instead of enable, I'm making it as disabled. So let's see what happens now. To show you how it retries, let me open it in head mode because if I run it in headless mode, you will not be able to see it. So in package.json, I have used this command, right? Cy run. Okay, so here you can see you can use npm cy. So cy run, and basically this will run Cypress in headless mode, but I have to open it. So I will use npx Cypress open. Okay, now if I click here, So one test should fail and it should retry. So now it is waiting, it got failed and it is attempting another, it is trying another attempt and again it will fail. But since I have deliberately failed it, so any number of time if I run it, it is going to be failed. But in flaky test, sometime it may fail and sometime it may not. So if you are using Cypress dashboard, you can see a history of those flaky tests, how many times it got failed and how many times it are these test cases are passing. So that way you can filter it out. Okay, with that said, actually I'm done with the session, but there's one last thing which I wanted to show you, which is very crucial for this session. Let me quickly go to the GitHub action. So this is how we run our Cypress test locally. But what if you want to run this Cypress test in any CI server, call it as Travis CI or Circle CI or even Jenkins? So we can Cypress provide very good support for all of them. Uh, the newest of them is the GitHub Action. So and it is very easy to set up. I mean, within minutes you can set up. So let me quickly show you how you can do that. This will be the last thing in my session. Uh, Let me go to the repositories. Okay, so let's take this one. Okay. Here you can see the badge. Since in the last one it got pass, so that is why it's showing as pass. So how you can set GitHub action is you have to go to once your code is there inside your repository in GitHub, you simply go to the actions and create a new workflow. Since we are using JavaScript, so we can install a Node.js version. But anyways, you have to even if you create a Node.js workflow, it will give you the default workflow like this. Okay, but you have to edit it based on your project needs. So give it a name, like let's say any name, test, and name it as Cypress CI. And when you want to run your test cases, so basically on every push on the main branch, you can change the branch as well. This workflow dispatch we don't need. Now these are the jobs which you are going to run and where you will run on the Ubuntu latest version. It uses the action, GitHub action, and this is the latest version of GitHub action. Check out. Now on the name, like you can give some run Cypress, and on run you can perform some command. So I have one sample for this. So if I remove all this and simply paste this, your workflow will look like this. So basically, the name I have given here is Cypress end-to-end test. On every push on main branch, it will run Cypress job, and where it will run on Ubuntu latest. What are the steps involved? First, it will check out, and then how it will check out using GitHub Actions version 2. It will set up the npm package because we have to install all those dependencies. And finally, it will use Cypress IO GitHub Actions version 2. So this command will normally do like your npm run test. Okay, and this will happen on every push. So you can see the result as well if you click here. Sorry. If I go to any of the version like this one, okay. So while running, it will you can see the progress of any GitHub action workflow. Like it will set up the job, and then it will check out. Finally, it will run end-to-end test. Okay, and the same log you will get it here, like all those four test cases we have ran, you can see them here itself. Okay, and if everything goes well, uh, if it is a CI pipeline, you can create some API test cases for CI pipeline for that build, and everything goes past, you can proceed with that build deployment. So this is how it happens. Um, so yeah, this was pretty much it about Cypress and its features and end-to-end testing with Cypress. Thank you for your time, and please give your feedback. And if you have any questions, now we have a chat session open. We can ask questions as well. So over to you, Alona.
Thank you so much for the detailed presentation. I was actually enjoying it, and I feel like I know Cyprus myself now. um, I wanted to ask you something. So
Yeah,
yeah, we all know, like, I mean, it's amazing because it's fast without WebDriver itself, and it's just going fast and testing and everything, and it's integrated with CI, so it's pretty much good to go. But the only concern I have about this tool, maybe you can explain a bit more about that. Um, let's say if you need to do cross-browsing testing, how do you kind of
yeah,
manage to do that? I know this is maybe
yes.
a very common question with Cyprus, but yeah, would be nice if you can give your
Yeah,
own
yeah, it
opinion.
is. It is very easy. Like so, as of now, Cypress support three major browser, as I mentioned in the beginning of the session, like Chrome stable version, uh, Firefox, and Edge. So either if you are running it through command line, you can just pass a tag hyphen hyphen browser and give your browser name and path. Or if you're running through this window, Cypress test runner. So you can see if you can see this Cypress test runner, I have these two browsers. So by default, it was running on Electron. So you can change it to Chrome or Firefox. Let me change it to Chrome and then or maybe Firefox here. So if I run my test, it will run in Firefox window. So this way, you can do a cross browser testing. See, it has opened a different tab now. It is Firefox. And you can also not only cross browser, you can also do mobile testing sort of thing. Like you can change the viewport. Like this is a browser viewport, 1000 into 660. We can change it to make it like, let's say, iPhone or an Android screen viewport. So that also is possible.
That will be for kind of web app on mobile viewport, right? Not like
Yes.
the app itself. So as
Not
far as
not
I
like
know,
the
it's
app
not.
itself. Yes,
Mhm.
Cypress as of now it doesn't support the app version, but yes, you can change the viewport and then you can see the browser how it behaves in your mobile.
Hmm. Do you know if it does support React Native apps or it doesn't support apps at all, like any apps?
Oh, I mean, it is the best tool for React Native, I would say.
Oh, that's
So
what I was
yeah,
wondering.
yeah. But
Okay.
yeah, so basically Cypress supports the React and it has like Angular support as well. So we'll see in future because Cypress releases every month, and every month they come up with some exciting features. So we'll see. Hopefully, further support will also be available.
Hmm. Yeah, that's actually nice because a lot of apps are React Native nowadays because they be, kind of switch into this. A lot of companies, at
So
least.
as I say, yeah, as I mentioned, like it is not supporting any web app as of now,
Yeah.
but yes, you can test the browser view by changing the viewport, but that will also help. But yeah, I hope also like in future it will support the mobile testing as well.
Yeah. And I think Toyer was mentioning about page object model, but I guess it was a bit earlier. Then later you explained how it works as well, which is a good practice. Um, Prashant, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have one question. First, thank you, friends, for the detailed explanation. I really like it. A lot of insights about this tool. And my question is about Angular. because I am using Protractor in my office, because we use Angular JS as a development, front end application development. So I see, like, by time the Google actually releases Angular 9, Angular 10, Angular 11. So I don't know, like, how Cypress handles frequent releases of this Angular. So if I in case it
Yes.
the switch off Angular, like sometimes it will be without Angular and with Angular, how we handle using Cypress.
So yes, that's a very good question, because since they have very frequent releases, but I must say, like, Cypress can test anything which runs in the browser. So I haven't tried with many versions of Angular, but yes, with React it is working very fine. But yeah, I think it will support. I mean, there should not be any problem unless it is not running in browser.
Okay, thank you, Prince. And we see one question in the YouTube. Alona, can you read?
That was like about page object, but I think it was answered because yeah,
Yeah,
page.
because I initially, it was intentional, because if I tell about page object at the first time itself, people will get confused who are new to the page objects. So why it was needed? That is why I wanted to tell the audience, because it isolates the code, and it is if you want to reuse your code, you can do it with page objects. So I emphasize the need of page object. That is why later on I have created.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much, we all use it and it's really useful nowadays. What about cloud? Like, it's possible to use Cypress with cloud solution like browser stack or something, or not really? Because I know it's kind of different structure of running tests, right? So I was wondering.
So yeah, frankly, I have not tried it with the browser stack, but Cypress again comes with a different browser support. But there are many CI servers you can use with Cypress, as I named them, like Circle CI, Travis CI, and Jenkins. And we just have seen the GitHub Actions also. But I haven't tried it personally,
Mhm.
because we are into different technology stacks, and we believe in open source. So I haven't tried it.
Yeah, open source is always nice. You can mix it in a nice way and it will work. That's the most
Yeah,
important. But what
yeah.
about Safari test? And I think Cypress doesn't support it, but let's say in case you need to have Safari tested on your project, what can be the solution here? Or any browser that Cypress doesn't support as example.
Safari, I believe, is not in support list for now. So if I'm not wrong, uh, it was there in the feature list, the browser, how many browser it is supporting now. So you can see Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Electron, and Brave. So basically, it is supporting the Chromium browser family, Firefox, Edge. To answer your question, if you are trying for the Safari, there's a new tool in the market called as Playwright. Maybe I will come up with more details on that, because recently I started watching this tool called as Playwright. It has Safari support as well.
Very nice. I didn't know about this tool actually. Maybe we will have one more session later. Who knows?
Yeah, and it is
Okay.
also a JavaScript based tool,
That was,
which is not using WebDriver protocol. So
oh,
it is
nice.
also very fast like Cypress.
That's actually something to discuss later on or even investigate. It sounds
Yeah.
interesting, to be honest. So we have 1 minute left. Yeah, and saying that, I want to really thank you for this detailed presentation. This video will be recorded and will be in our channel, so you can feel free to come and watch it anytime. I can share it in LinkedIn as well, so you can follow our group in LinkedIn and yeah, just have a link and check it anytime you want, because a lot of insights today. Thank you, Prince, again for participating. It's really a good session, and it was a pleasure to have you around. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Luna, Prashant, and I'm also glad that I got the opportunity to speak here. Maybe we can have further sessions on different tools or even in new features of Cypress as well. With that
Always.
said, yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much and
Thank you.
have a good
Thank you,
time.
everyone.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
Thank
Take
you
care.
so much. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.